The Humanistic Approach by Rogers and Maslow. Humanistic psychology came about in the 1950s. Rogers and Maslow developed it. It's known as the third force next to the behaviorist approach and the psychodynamic approach. So Rogers felt that Freud dealt with the sick half of psychology. So the humanistic approach concerned itself with explanations of healthy growth in individuals. Free will. All the approaches we have looked at are very deterministic. The humanistic psychology focuses on the idea that humans have free will and are self-determining. Internal and external factors still influence, however, we are active agents in our development. For this, a humanistic approach rejects all levels and rejects scientific models, but they study subjective experience in a person-centered approach. Maslow's famous work is his hierarchy of needs. This is a pyramid to show that people innately want to reach their true potential. Each stage is built upon the foundation below, so someone cannot move up until they have mastered that stage. So it goes from the bottom, it goes physiological, safety, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. The self, congruent, and conditions of worth. Rogers argued that personal growth can only be achieved through congruence between the self and the ideal self. This is impacted by factors including conditions of worth. We need unconditional positive regard from our parents. Client-centered therapy. Rogers' client-centered therapy is a form of psychotherapy. He refers to them as clients, not patients, as he believes they are the experts of their condition. It is encouraged for the client to discover their own solutions. The ideal client is someone who is genuine, has empathy, and an unconditional positive regard. It also aims to increase self-worth, and it has been highly praised, but is only really useful for the treatment of mild psychological conditions. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's main interest was in what motivates people. In order to achieve our primary goal of self-actualization, a number of other deficiency needs must be met first. The first of these is physiological. So imagine trying to work hard while you're being hungry or tired. Moving up to the hierarchy, the next deficiency need is safety and security, followed by love and belongingness, and then self-esteem. A person is only able to progress through the hierarchy, and the current need in the sequence has been met. Maslow characterized life as a series of peak experiences, moments of great achievement, ecstasy or elation when all deficiency needs are satisfied. He also identified and researched a number of self-actualizers, people who, for whatever reason, were fulfilled in life and had used their abilities to their fullest. Evaluation. So, the humanistic approach is not reductionist. Humanists refuse to break information down. Other approaches break down the whole into smaller parts. For example, Freud with the id, ego, and superego. Cognitivists see people as information processing machines. This is a holistic approach, and this increases its validity. However, it has limited application. It is difficult to apply to the real world. It has no real impact on psychology. It has very little evidence and a loose set of concepts. However, this argument can be flipped on. Rogers' counselling and Maslow's hierarchy has had a real impact on many agents in society. A further weakness is that it has untestable concepts. So the vague ideas and abstract concepts, they are short of empirical evidence. However, this argument can be flipped as Rogers created a Q sort and scale to measure how well someone is doing in therapy. Furthermore, there is cultural bias. It focuses on the Western world and doesn't think about the ideas of a collectivist society. It wouldn't travel around the world. And also the use of case studies. A strength with this is it allows insight into the use of this approach. However, a weakness is it doesn't really have an empirical evidence. A strength is the large scale amount means that it proves the validity of this approach. In contrast to the psychodynamic approach, the complete opposite to this approach is the psychodynamic approach. An individual is a slave to their past and their desires. All people exist between common unhappiness and absolute despair. And it can be used to criticize or support the humanistic approach.